My name is Joe Buhle, and I'm here to talk to you about research. Everything from how to do research to what types of research are good. The definition of research is the systematic investigation into and the study of materials and sources in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. So the first step is to figure out the topic of your research. This at times can be the hardest step in the entire process, but it is also the most important step in the process. Anyone who is giving a presentation needs to know the ins and outs of a presentation topic that they have chosen. One thing you need to know about research is whether or not it is considered a credible site. If you get your information from a biased blog, for instance, your information will not be considered credible. However, if you do get your information from, let's say, the whitehouse.gov, then your information can be considered credible. There are 6 main ways to tell if a website or source of information is credible. They are author, date, sources, domain, design, and writing style. Let's start with author. Information on the internet with a listed author is one indication of a credible site. If the author is willing to put his name out there and back up his information, then it is more than likely credible. Next is date. The date of any research information is important because it lets you know how relevant the information is. If a website says the date published was within the last year, you know that this information can be accurate. Next is sources. Websites that have articles based on information normally at the end should have their sources that they used. These can help you out when doing research because you can click on the source and go straight from where the information came from. Next is domain. Such domains like .com, .org, or .net can be purchased. However, the domains .edu and .gov are reserved for universities and government officials. These can be considered credible because there is no profit in these universities or government. Next is site design. If the site looks like it is designed by a 3rd grader, odds are it's probably not going to be the most credible site. And last but not least is writing style. Poor spelling and a lot of grammar issues can indicate that the author of it cannot be considered credible because they can't even spell correctly. The next thing to know is how to take effective notes when doing research. You have to be able to only take the information that you need so that you don't get off topic in your presentation. This can sometimes be hard if you do not know the end destination you want to end at the end of your presentation. The next step in research is giving credit for the information that you use. You can do this by citing your source. There are different ways you can cite a source, those being MLA and APA, which are the 2 most popular ways. When giving a presentation, stating full references can sound awkward and make everyone uncomfortable, so practice saying it in ways that flow with the presentation. For example, in 1986, the noted researcher Michael Nur wrote, or another one is, when reading a Time magazine article from March 27th, I was surprised to find, or finally, to paraphrase Thomas Jefferson from August 4th, 1780. These are ways you can give credit and make it sound fluid and go with your presentation. This also adds to your own image of competence in the eyes of your audience. Another thing you should always do is use multiple mediums of sources, ranging from websites to newspapers and even books in the library. Now I know no one wants to go to the library and look up a book because it takes too much time, but sometimes it's the best option. Another way to do research is to conduct an interview with a professional in that field. You want to have both open-ended and closed questions in your interview because it will feel more like a conversation and the interviewee will be more willing to open up. The final step is putting everything together in action. Now, depending on the type of presentation you're giving, depends on how you portray the information to your audience. Whether it's going to be just you speaking and them listening, or making a PowerPoint or handouts, it just depends on how you feel you want your presentation to go. So as you can see, research is one of the biggest components in a presentation. It can make or break your presentation. Whether it is from figuring out the topic to doing the physical research, or even just giving credit for the information you found, it is important that you know how to do it and when to do it. I hope now that you can successfully do research on your next presentation and do well in your